All right, here we go again. So today we're going to talk about beauty trends that we're side-eyeing.
Okay, so things that we see online and that we don't agree with, or that we think that are a little weird and should not be done.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Did you think about it?
Oh, I did.
Okay, so what would be beauty trends that you're side-eyeing?
So I have two, actually.
Two.
The biggest one for me is at-home microneedling.
Oh, okay. How do you even do that?
So first, I have a question.
Yes.
Would you stitch your own wound?
Nope. Absolutely not.
Okay, there we go. So would you cut your own hair blindfolded? Well, you might.
I have cut my hair before.
Okay.
Not blindfolded.
Okay. So then why are we puncturing our faces at home?
Right. So what is microneedling? What does it do for you?
Okay, so it's controlled injury to our skin by using a pin type of tool with micro needles on it. And we use different depths for different parts of the face. And so on that part of the topic, we have different types of collagen as we get into different layers of the skin. So that's where kind of the injury could come in if we aren't properly trained in doing it.
Okay, so we injure our skin so it regenerates itself?
Yes, so our injury response kicks in and heals ourselves.
Okay.
And so we rebuild collagen, elastin. We can help with fine lines and wrinkles, acne, scarring, pigmentation, pore size. That's a big one.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any texture. That's another big one.
Okay, so I think I might have done something similar back in the day.
I'm side-eyeing you.
Okay, years ago, there were this rolling thing.
Yep, I know exactly what you're talking about.
And you would just hold this thing and had a rolling thing with some little needles.
Yep.
And I would run that thing all over my cheek, and it hurt. Like, it was painful. And I would just run in my forehead and run it on my cheeks.
Okay, so think about this, because I know what that is. It's a derma roller.
Derma roller, there you go.
Okay, so you cannot hold the same amount of pressure on one side of your face as you do the other, and it cannot be consistent. So that's where proper training and microneedling come in, because it's a consistent amount of pressure with the mechanism that's in the pin.
Oh,
and
okay.
With the depth.
Right, because with the roller, you apply the pressure, so it depends on your hands.
Yeah.
Whether the pen does the job for you.
When you get started, you have different movements, and then by the time you get to this side of the face, you're tired.
Yes.
So
not to mention that you're working on the other side. Yeah. So you definitely have different pressure, like the mechanics of the movement are different because of working on two different sides.
Also, if you are going too deep in one area, you could start dragging on the skin, and so that could cause infection. It could cause damage to your skin, so you're actually doing the opposite of what you're trying to accomplish.
Right.
So
that's why my wrinkles never went away. It was a thing back then. I'm thinking about, it was probably 15 years ago.
Unfortunately, it still is a thing.
Really?
Yeah.
And why would you, how would you do microneedling at home? People can buy the pen and use it?
Oh, yeah. So you can just buy a Dr. Pen off of Amazon and buy I mean, you could buy anything on Amazon.
Okay. So, well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Why is it not regulated? How is it possible that people just buy it and use it?
Well, I mean, because nano infusion is another form of microneedling-ish. Okay. It's just non-invasive. So that can be purchased as the pin. It's just a different cartridge for that same exact pin.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Also, aren't there different regulations depending on states with regards to microneedling?
Yes. So in Kansas, you have to work under a doctor as an esthetician. In Missouri, I can do it on my own. And think, when we're causing injury to our skin, we treat it like an open wound. So if you're not properly trained and you don't know how to treat an open wound on your face, then again, you could cause infection and then do the opposite of what you're trying to do. So that's why it's important to get the proper training.
Right. Also because I feel like a lot of people don't really think about this, but skin actually it is an organ.
Oh, it's the largest
your
organ.
body, right? So it's our largest organ. So even though it's the outside, and people, it's not like our guts inside, because typically that's what we think organs are. But skin is an organ, so it requires to be treated accordingly, and that's why training, especially in these procedures, these treatments that can be a little more invasive, training is extremely important because you need to know what you're doing, right?
And I understand cost can be a huge factor in it because it is expensive, but the results pay off in the end.
Right. And the risk also for who's performing it is quite high. And that's a service that you offer at Refresh Aesthetics, right?
So I have another one too.
Right. She came prepared. She said she had two. So microneedling one.
Yeah, this one's another big one. At-home dermaplaning.
Ah, okay.
So also think about it. Would you shave your face with a butter knife?
Nope.
Okay, so that's basically what those like tinkle razors are. Okay. So they're serrated blades.
Okay.
So when you're using those, typically when you're watching like a TikTok video of those girls that are spraying that white powder spray on their face, that's really when it became like a huge trend. Then you could see all of the hair on your face, and then you just scrape it down so you're going with the grain of the hair. Those serrated blades are causing micro injuries in the skin. So then we go back into infection control. So you have this open wound on your skin, and that's where that comes in. So that's why when we dermaplane and have the proper training, we're using a stainless steel blade that is single use, and we're using it in a proper way.
So you use it for the client, and then do you throw it away?
It goes in a sharps container, yes.
Okay, so that's a single-use item.
Yes.
Yeah, very important, because let's say, you have some blood from another person, and then you use the same blade on somebody else, you could transmit things, right?
Oh, yeah. That's huge.
Well, I've seen also a lot of people that just grab a regular razor and basically shave their face like if it was a beard.
So that's a great point, too. When we dermaplane at a 45-degree angle. When you shave at a 90-degree angle. So when you shave your legs and you feel that, it feels like it's coming in thicker because it was cut at a blunt edge.
Right. Flat.
Yes. So when we dermaplane, it's at a 45-degree angle and it cuts it softly. Okay. So it's not going to change the DNA of the hair. It's not going to grow back thicker, darker, anything like that. So it's just going to grow back the same way that it was before.
Okay, cool. Right, because a lot of people think, oh, when you shave, then the hair grows thicker. So I feel like, that's not a complaint, but something that customers have brought up in the past. Like, why would I get dermaplaning? So anyway, why do we do dermaplaning? What are the benefits? Once I dermaplane my face, once I get a dermaplane done by a professional, what happens to my face? Why would I want to do that? Why would I want to book the service?
So dermaplane comes into play with makeup as well.
Okay.
Your makeup sits better, or how would you say that as a makeup artist?
Yes, so obviously makeup is pigment suspended in a base, and pigment comes only in a powder form. That's why we put it in a suspended base, right? So obviously if you have any sorts of texture that could be from wrinkles, lines, acne scarring, and hair, the pigment tends to sit on top of it, which means that it's going to make the flaw more obvious because it's just sitting on top of it. So that's why, for example, if I have a client that doesn't get any dermaplaning services done, the application of the makeup would be always in a downward motion to where I can make all the peach fuzz lay flat against the skin. If I go the opposite way, and if I brush my foundation going opposite way, I'm going to make all that hair stick out and the product sit on top of it. So up close, it will be obvious that this person has peach fuzz. So it changes the way we apply. Whether if I have a client that has dermaplaning done, I really don't have to think about it. The product is going to lay evenly throughout the face. Also, when it comes to peach fuzz, we don't have it in the forehead, right? For example, or less. It's mostly in certain areas of the face. That's why it's important to assess if client got this type of service or no, because it would change the makeup application. And sometimes the tools too.
Yeah.
If I have a client that didn't get a dermaplane and has peach fuzz, a buffing brush in circular motion is not ideal. A flat paddle brush or a sponge that lays everything flat against the skin would be a much better option as far as selecting your tools. So, yes.
And then it also does help products penetrate deeper. So, focusing on your goals, whatever your skin care goals are, then that would be a benefit of getting that service.
Okay, cool. Interesting, you guys. So many things that we do with skin are important when it comes to makeup. So I guess it kind of introduced my beauty trend that I'm side-eyeing, and it's like a one-size-fits-all education that I see, makeup education that I see a lot online. Okay, obviously, most of these beauty trends, they become trends online. So that's why I'm talking specifically about that. But I see a lot of step-by-step makeup application process that doesn't necessarily make any sense for that one client. So it's more so do this thing followed by that thing, and you're going to use this product with that tool, done, end. And in reality, makeup is not like that. Makeup is a very customized service. You have to consider, obviously, the ingredients that you're using, all the different tools and what they do. So you have to have that knowledge. You also have to take into consideration the client's preferences, because not everybody likes the same stuff. Okay. So that's my main, one of my biggest beauty trends that I'm side-eyeing. Why are we selling or giving away this education that it's not real education? It's just a step-by-step process, and we sell it as the way to do makeup. This is not true. Absolutely. Makeup is a very customized service. The same way that an esthetician analyzes the skin and goes through what are your concerns, what are things that we're trying to correct, do we have any flaws that we're trying to get rid of, all those things. The same thing a makeup artist should always do with the clients. The things that we look at, some of them pertain to the skin. So if they have really oily skin, for example, or if they have really dry skin. But also we look into the facial anatomy and structure. So I do skincare with a little bit of a massage, not an esthetician, but and I do that instead of using a brush often, because that allows me to feel the bone structure of my clients. Based on that, I can immediately in my head think, okay, this is the type of contour that she needs. She maybe needs a little bit more here or there, and I know that I can make my corrections based on the client's feature. There is somewhat of a step-by-step system and process that goes through the application. We apply the same products over and over again, so obviously you're going to do foundation, concealer, blush, contour. Those are the main steps, but selling that one application as a trend is not realistic to what a makeup application is in fact. So yes, it's the same products, yes, with pretty much the same steps, but they should always be customized to the specific client, what they want, and their feature at the same time.
So I kind of like to use this analogy with new clients when I'm pretty much explaining skincare and how it works. There's no one size fits all.
Right.
And obviously I love food. We have to have food to survive. It's kind of like going to a buffet.
Right.
So you have all of these options out here. What are you going to choose? So what I might choose and what you might choose at the buffet is going to be completely different.
Correct.
And that's a great analogy that someone would understand.
Correct. Correct. Yeah, true. Very true. And it's the same with makeup, it's the same exact thing. Now, as beauty professionals, we kind of feed into the trends because we are creating content, and we see the trends and we feed into those and we replicate some of those trends. Obviously, they give you visibility, but I think that we should always don't forget that we need to find the balance between what we put out there as professionals that can become a trend and what in reality we do or we should be doing. So That's my main one. All right, you guys, and also great news. Well, we have two news for these episodes. First thing first, we have microphones on. We are upgrading in our podcast journey. We're trying to do much better, you guys. Thanks also to the sponsors that we have, you guys. We are starting to sign up some sponsorships. Thanks mostly to Megan. She did all of that. She did all of that part. So she is going to introduce you guys our very first official sponsor after we started the sponsorship. So Megan, who's our sponsor of the day?
So our sponsor is Cornerstone Creations of KC. They design faith-inspired apparel and custom merchandise that sparks conversations and supports a bigger mission. So they created my Refresh Aesthetics shirts.
Okay.
Which are very nice.
Always support small businesses, you guys. Yes. We're gonna keep all our sponsorships as much as possible very local, because obviously, we are in KC, so we want to we want to help people, market people that are in the same area. Otherwise, it will make no sense, right? They give us their sponsorship, and so we're trying to keep it as city as possible.
Yep, and they're perfect for churches, ministries, businesses, and events. If you're having an event coming up, they're perfect for that as well. They really strive to have a quick turnaround.
Okay, so I have like custom merch for that specific event.
Yes.
Okay, yes. That's great.
And it's a woman-owned business as well.
Woman-owned business.
Support
we like that.
Women.
Support the women. Yeah, absolutely. So I'm assuming they have a website. I see here.
They
yeah.
do.
What is their website?
It is www.cc-kc.com, and we'll put that down in the comments.
Yes, you're going to find all the links in the description. So go check them out, www.cc-kc.com for your custom merch, Cornerstone Creations of KC.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much for sponsoring us. I have another beauty trend that I'm side-eyeing. And this one, I know probably 75% of the makeup artists out there are going to hate me for this one.
Ooh, that means it's going to be good.
But I cannot stand, and Maya, I know you do that too, I'm sorry, but I cannot stand when people do eyeshadow and they slap eyeshadow everywhere and they're very messy with it and they go past the corner and they buff it in and then they grab a wipe and remove the excess. Okay, I recently saw a video, a reel, I think it was on Instagram, of this makeup artist who's doing makeup on the lady. And she's giving her the mirror to see, the steps as they go by. And she has all this like black, brown eyeshadow down here because this makeup artist was applying all over, like a lot of people do nowadays, to then go back and clean, right? So she gives the mirror to this bridesmaid, and the lady looks in the mirror and she's like, yeah, I like everything. I'm a little concerned about the eyeshadow down here. And the makeup artist is like, oh, don't worry, I'm going to remove it. That's just the excess. And I understand where it comes from and why people do that. It allows for blending without thinking. You just put the product on, buff it out, and it doesn't really matter where it goes because you're going to remove it. But I am classically trained from back then when we were being judged for what we were doing. So when I was trained, that was a big no-no. Like, you want to work as clean as possible.
Yeah, it's kind of like precision.
Correct.
Yeah.
So yes, it is true that you can go over and remove the excess, but my point is, why are you doing it to begin with? So instead of doing that and grab a giant fluffy brush and slap eyeshadow everywhere and then clean it, why don't you grab a more precision tool, a more precise tool, build skills in your hands so you can achieve the same result without looking messy like that. So messy eyeshadow applications are one of those trends that, a lot of people don't care. A lot of people do it. I see it everywhere. You never see me do that. I can't stand it. I remember like the very first workshops that I did in Milan when we were working, with certain photographers for certain brands, in certain industries, and being clean while working was a big thing. Like, you had to be clean and precise. You had to show them that you had skills rather than, oh, I have a hack, which is also, for example, the hack of using tape on client's skin.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's for another day. Like, you can practice learn precision so you can avoid doing all these things. Now, does that make it easier? Yes, but in my eyes, as a classically trained makeup artist, it also makes it sloppy. And if I was a client and I'm sitting in front of the mirror and I have eyeshadow everywhere, I'd be freaking out like that lady was freaking out, you know. Yes, obviously you can always clean. Makeup is not permanent, it's something temporary. But you can be more mindful of what you're doing and put a little more thoughts in what you're doing and the tools that you're using so you don't look messy. So that's a big thing. Again, you know, I started mostly in fashion. We always had backstage photographers, videographers. So, for example, what kind of video are they going to have if my client has eyeshadows down all over here? Yeah. Not to mention that something else that kind of goes against the little bit of the logic of doing makeup is by then, typically, they already have skincare on, right? So you did your eye cream and you did the skincare, and then you have all this eyeshadow going everywhere. And then you grab a makeup wipe and remove everything. Well, makeup wipe is made with makeup remover, so it's also gonna remove the skincare you just did. So what are you going over again? Like, it makes no sense to me. Mm-hmm. So I'd rather work clean to where I don't have to redo the skincare, you know, and everything is nice and precise, and I can show that I actually have skills in my fingers. So that's another beauty trend. I have to say that I see this I would call this a bridal beauty trend. I follow a lot of fashion makeup artists or makeup artists that are signed by agencies, you know, bigger names, and they don't work like that. But the bridal industry, that's more like learn from another makeup artist, I see that often. It is an easier process. It just, where's the pride in what you're doing? You know, if you work messy to then clean it. It's like saying, I'm going to slap wax all over because then I'm going to remove it. Well, don't you want to put the wax in a certain manner, in a certain way, so it looks clean and precise? Yes, you're going to remove it, but you can do it, you know, without looking sloppy or being sloppy. So that's another beauty trend for me. This brings us to the end of this episode. I'm sure we can think of more beauty trends that we are side-eyeing for the future, so stay tuned for future episodes about this topic. Yes. This was just the very beginning, just to give you a taste of how we think.
We're like dipping our toe in the water.
Yes, we're dipping our toes in skincare, in SPF on the beach. So you guys, if you like this episode, subscribe to our channel. You know, down there, I think we forgot to say last time, so we're going to say from now on. Again, we're learning this podcast journey. Every day is a new adventure. So subscribe to our channel and please engage with it so it goes out there and more people can see it. Like, leave a comment. If you have any questions, I would also be curious to know if you guys have any beauty trends that you're side-eyeing, like as a consumer, for example, or as another professional. Is there something that really bothers you that you see? And if so, you know, what is it? So, Megan, where can they find you?
They can find me on Instagram at refresh_SD. That's ESTY.
Okay, and you guys can find me. My makeup page is on Instagram is at Lucrezia Mapelli MUA. It's gonna be here. And then obviously my academy page is LMH Beauty Academy KC.
Oh, but wait, I also have my website launching.
Right, Megan is working on her website, a new thing to do in her free time.
Right. So
what is your website going to be?
That is www.refreshaesthetics.net.
Is it aesthetics AE or aesthetics E?
E.
Yes, okay.
ESTHETICS.
I also do have a website, www.lucreziamapellimakeupartist.com to where you can find my portfolio, my services, and what I offer. So please follow us, you guys, and
thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching. See you in the next episode.